I wanted to kind of go over the saber effect again in more detail because it's really, really easy, and I thought it would be good to go over, I guess, if anyone wants to end up replicating any of these. And I'm gonna do one while I did it, so I haven't even looked at this one before, but some stuff is already pre-done for me. If you can see behind me over here, if I look behind me, there's a monitor and there's like some stuff. It's because Sky was working with me earlier. But I'm gonna do. He just did some tracking things, as well as doing. So he basically made this comp so far. So he did this tracking stuff as well as rotoing this out. So he is all rotoed out. This is a pretty easy shot. I was actually jealous that he got to do this one. Basically what's going on right now is we're in the last couple shots here. Some of these are actually done, but we have about 4 shots left to do. I just finished one of them, so 4 shots left to do out of these, and then if I add another one, so maybe 5 shots left to do out of the shots that we had to do in After Effects. We had one that I just did in Premiere because like it was easier and quicker. But yeah, so we're in the final stretch here, so I thought it would be a good time to kind of go over how I'm doing these racket effects. So basically everyone in the skit has their own different racket effects to kind of identify them and their racket, and Jake kind of consumes some of those racket effects later and embodies them more to show that he has now gained this power from the racket. So the racket and the colors with it play a part in showing you what's going on and kind of who's who without because it's only a 3-minute piece, and the main goal for me here was to show how am I going to show that Simi's a bad guy and Jake's a good guy, and then Tyler's also another good guy, but like Tyler's not the same as Jake, like what levels they're on, how do we show this? And partially it's in dialogue and partially it's in the effects. So for all of them though, they all have these rackets and they're all colored. I am using a plugin. I'll pull it up right here from Video Copilot. Actually, if I search here, if I go to Video Copilot, here's the plugin on Video Copilot here. It is the Saber plugin, and basically it makes these kind of lines back and forth. So it makes these dope looking lines, and there's all these different presets in there for you, and he'll show you how to kind of do things. You can make curves with them. You can go absolutely crazy with this stuff. And it's an amazingly easy procedurally generated plugin. Let's see, let's just watch the trailer here. But it looks incredible, and it does these traces, and you do it. I'm using something for it that's very, very simple and straightforward. My phone just went off, and it's going off again. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, it's just Joey. So I have to film a shot today. So let's get to the effect real quick, and then I will text him back and film that shot. Basically, what I had Sky do is I had him track the top of the racket and the bottom of the racket handle. And then I had him attach that to null. So that was very easy to do. You basically just take this, you go into this layer, and you go to this track tool down here on the side. I'll go to what I normally use, the default layout. You go to this track tool, you hit track motion, and then you move that track point to wherever you want to track, and then you kind of go frame by frame, or you kind of just let it go here, and it will find you a motion. It'll find you the points that you need, right? And the nice part about this shot is you only need to track a little bit of it before the racket goes out of frame. So we have these trackers in here. Let's get rid of that one. We have our trackers in here, and we're ready to go now. And now we have these nulls. And with these nulls, if I go to the whole thing, they are attached to, we gave the trackers motion to these nulls, and all these nulls are here, and boom, very easy. That's it. That's all we have to do. After that, I like to pre-comp these. I'm gonna hold shift, select both of them. I'm gonna say pre-compose. I'm gonna name this Racket FX, and I'm gonna move all attributes, and then boom, there we go. So now we're in the new composition. We just have these 2 effects there. That's fine. The next thing we're going to create is a solid, and with this solid layer, I'm going to call this normally I call it like Racket Effects, but I like calling it Saber just because I know that's what it is. And then either on most people's computers, they'll just go up here and they'll type in Saber, and they'll drag and they'll drop it on there. But how I do it, you have the effects, whatever, Sky knew what this was, but I type in Saber here, and boom, I hit enter. It's on my composition. And that's great here. So we can make this look however we want. There's all sorts of different presets here, and they're all animated too, and they all have different settings that they use. I use different settings for all sorts of things. What's important now is that we can see it. So let's make it so that we can see it on the screen. So I'm gonna hit screen, and once I change that to screen, or yeah, oh, I guess I was just thinking, I was like, why can't I see it? Well, because there's nothing in the background there. Normally the reason you would do screen, I guess it really doesn't matter on this one because of the way I started doing it now. Anyways, normally you hit screen so that you can see the translucency in the black parts, and it just brings in the saber. That's fine there. The next part is where it gets a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to lock this up here. So I keep these saber effects here because what I'm going to watch is these core points for core start and core end. So let's open up those. We're going to alt click to open our expressions panel, which is a little bit of code down here that helps us do more in-depth things with After Effects and do things past what we could initially do with just a UI. And then I'm going to hit P here to open up my position tabs. Now I have the position for all those points, and I want it to start at the bottom of the racket. So I'm going to go here and pick whip position start, click off, and then click whip position on. Boom. And now we have this cool little effect that follows where the racket went. It was that easy. Literally figured out how to do this within like 10 minutes. And very, very simple. Very, very simple technique that we're using for the whole thing. Now the next part of that is if I go here and I pull up this little image that I've been using. I'm trying not to breathe into the mic. I know that was an issue last time. It's just because I'm trying to go quickly here and I'm kind of breathing a little bit heavier. But we have the Saber plugin, and these are the settings I was using. Actually, I realized later that I wasn't using any of these. I'm just using the core distortion part there, and I'm also using protocol as my default one, and the default color ended up being the color of his racket, and it ended up being perfect. So protocol color and default color on protocol, I have these all tracked. That's great, that's great. Then I go down to customize core, or actually go down to distortion and a core distortion. And what I did is, let's get a part where it's actually moving a little bit here. So here it looks like it might be a good part. But if we zoom in on our core here, you see it looks like this kind of ball of light with this kind of glow around it. If I take up the core distortion a little bit, you start to get these little effects off, and they're matte and they look really cool. And this kind of reminded me of that anime kind of stylistic feel of it. I turned these to about 15, 16. 16 looks about good there just because this one doesn't have as much motion. And it gives it these little like end trails that kind of look, these little trails that really look, that brings in my anime feels right there. That little matte kind of distortion. It's not a glow distortion, it's the core. So if I bring up the glow distortion, it's going to end up doing that. And that looks awesome and dope, right? But it doesn't look like that. Like it will appear matte if it's like that. Our glow looks awesome. Like we could do that and that looks sick, right? But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get, I believe that was around 6 or wherever that was, 4.6. That's fine. Whatever the defaults is, so just so they all look uniform. Now we have this awesome effect that kind of follows our path there, and then we're gonna have to change this opacity to change that. So now we have this effect, and now its racket effects is over there. So if I take this away, you can see where the racket is. But guess what? We need to make it. So like I said, screen it. Boom. We're on there. And we got our effect on there. So let's see how it looks. That's the only effect there. But guess what? This is not Jake's racket. So they cannot be the same color. If they're the same color, then they're almost the same person. Like I said, we got to identify them from there. Boom. And I say we make this one. Let's try green. Let's see what green looks like. And this is probably a touch that no one will ever notice. The fact that his racket's green and not blue like everyone else's. And if I really want to be stingy about it, right when his racket kind of goes off the whole screen right there and kind of stops moving, I'm just going to trim that down so you can't see it and it just kind of goes away. Really, this is going to be trimmed off, so I really didn't have to do that apart. Now we got this. And that's our racket effect. Easy, easy. Well, if you enjoyed that, do subscribe. I'll hopefully break down a lot of these different effects. I'm not doing this video. This is like, I've decided that I'm not doing this YouTube channel to like, I just want to upload things that I want to upload because and show to people and like, okay, I did this and I did this. It's kind of an archive for me. In the same way that half a slice is just a way for people to see what I'm doing. I don't really care about high quality on there. I just want people to think, oh, that's dope. Like, I don't want it to be super refined. I just need it to be out there, if that makes sense. So thank you for watching that. And if you're interested in any of the effects you see in the video when it is finally released on Thursday, yeah, this video is not even done yet. It's gonna be done on the 24th when it's shown. I have 3 days, and the rest of today until 5 o'clock tonight, and I'll leave till 9. I'll come back at 9. So basically, I've been working 8 to 10 hours a day all weekend on this video. So if you do enjoy it, do subscribe. And if you have any questions about any specific effects, talk to me if you know me, or if you don't, leave a comment, and I'll probably go over that effect.